A historic but fragile diplomatic moment is unfolding today as the United States and Iran race to begin formal nuclear negotiations in Switzerland, even as fresh violence threatens to derail the entire process before it begins. Here's what we know. The United States and Iran reached an agreement on June 14th to settle a conflict lasting more than 3 months, a conflict that had closed the Strait of Hormuz, sent shockwaves through global oil markets, and affected economic growth worldwide. The agreement came in the form of a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, a foundational document outlining the path toward a more permanent deal. President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf signed the roughly page-and-a-half text electronically on June 15th, ahead of a formal ceremony that had been scheduled for June 19th in Switzerland. According to a senior U.S. official who read the exact details of the deal to reporters, the initial agreement calls for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for nearly 1/5 of the world's oil and natural gas supply. Both sides will then enter 60 days of negotiations, covering sanctions relief and Iran's nuclear program. After that period, both countries have the option to extend talks if they mutually agree. The agreement also includes a previously undisclosed side arrangement, under which Iran has agreed to invite inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency to Tehran. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, in a closed-door briefing to lawmakers, confirmed that IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi would be invited to bring U.S. nuclear inspectors to locate and identify Iran's highly enriched uranium stockpile. However, the road to a permanent deal has already hit its first serious obstacle. Iran delayed the start of negotiations after fighting intensified in southern Lebanon, where continued Israeli strikes against Iran-backed Hezbollah militants have complicated the diplomatic picture. The first round of talks, scheduled at Switzerland's Burgenstock resort, was cancelled, with the Swiss Foreign Ministry officially confirming the cancellation. Despite the setback, senior American negotiators remain on the ground. White House envoy Steve Witkoff and presidential advisor Jared Kushner have already arrived at the Burgenstock resort, as has Qatar's prime minister and top officials from other mediating countries. Iran's negotiating team, which includes Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and Parliamentary Speaker Ghalibaf, has also arrived ahead of anticipated talks. Vice President Vance struck an optimistic tone Saturday, saying negotiators were focused on securing Iran's enriched uranium stockpile to make it effectively impossible for Tehran to rebuild its nuclear program, while emphasizing that the United States retained significant economic leverage if Iran failed to comply with the agreement. The stakes could not be higher. A successful deal would mark a major foreign policy milestone, reshape the Middle East, and reopen one of the world's most vital shipping corridors. A collapse, however, could reignite a conflict that has already cost lives, disrupted global energy supplies, and strained alliances across the Western world. The world is watching Burgenstock, and the next 60 days may determine the future of Middle East stability.